Good morning, Andrews Elementary, and happy Tuesday. I hope you're as excited as I am for another day of ELA learning. It's going to be fantastic, so make sure you work hard. Take time when you're reading, all right? One of the things that I learned that made the biggest difference with my reading was that I'd read something, and it was really difficult to understand. I didn't get it. I'd read a whole page, and I'd have no idea what I just read. So read a couple sentences, read a paragraph, stop and ask yourself, what did I just read? And if you can't tell yourself what you just read, go back and reread it. That way you're only reading one or two sentences over, and you don't have to go back and read a whole page. That made a big difference in my understanding. So there's your reading tip for today. I look forward to seeing you in the Google Hangouts. Now, I'm excited because this book is getting awesome. Okay, there's some big things that are happening. The peach grew out of control. James went inside a hole that he found, and he found a bunch of insects and bugs that have been blown up to like life size. Okay, so just as big as him. All right, we are on chapter 12. So here we go. James decided that this was most certainly not a time to be disagreeable. So he crossed the room where the centipede was sitting and knelt down beside him. "Thank you so much," the centipede said. "You are very kind." "You have a lot of boots," James murmured. "I have a lot of legs," the centipede answered proudly, "and a lot of feet, 100 to be exact." "There he goes again," the earthworm cried, speaking for the first time. "He simply cannot stop telling lies about his legs. He doesn't have anything like 100 of them. He's only got 42. The trouble is that most people don't bother to count them. They just take his word. And anyway, there's nothing marvelous, centipede, about having a lot of legs." "Poor fellow," the centipede said, whispering in James' ears. "He's blind. He can't see how splendid I look." "In my opinion," the earthworm said, "the reality, or the really marvelous thing, is to have no legs at all, and to be able to just walk around the same." "You call that walking?" cried the centipede. "You're a slitherer. That's what you are. You just slither along." "I glide," said the earthworm primly. "You're a slimy beast," answered the centipede. There's the centipede with James helping him take off his boots. "I am not a slimy beast," the earthworm said. "I am a useful and much-loved creature. Ask any gardener you like. And as for you—" "I am a pest," the centipede announced, grinning broadly and looking around the room for approval. "He's so proud of that," the ladybug said, smiling at James, "though for the life of me I cannot understand why." "I am the only pest in this room," cried the centipede, still grinning away. "Unless you count old green grasshopper over there, but he is long past it now. He's too old to be a pest anymore." The old green grasshopper turned his huge black eyes upon the centipede and gave him a withered look. "Young fellow," he said, speaking in a deep, slow, scornful voice, "I have never been a pest in my life. I am a musician." "Hear, hear," said the ladybird. "James," the centipede said. "Your name is James, isn't it?" "Yes." "Well, James, have you ever in your life seen such a marvelous, colossal centipede as me?" "I certainly haven't," James answered. "How on earth did you get big like that?" "Very peculiar," the centipede said. "Very, very peculiar indeed. Well, let me tell you what happened. I was messing around in the garden under the old peach tree, and suddenly a funny thing that was green came wiggling past my nose. Bright green it was, and extraordinarily beautiful. And it looked like some kind of tiny stone or crystal." Do you know what he's talking about? Yeah, that's what he's talking about, that thing, those things that James dropped. "Oh, but I know what that was," cried James. "It happened to me too," said the ladybird. "And me," Miss Spider said. "Suddenly there were little green things everywhere. The soil was full of them." "I actually swallowed one," the earthworm declared proudly. "So did I," the ladybird said. "I swallowed 3, the centipede cried. "But who's telling this story anyways? Don't interrupt." "It's too late to tell stories now," the old green grasshopper announced. "It's time to go to sleep." "I refuse to sleep in my boots," the centipede cried. "How many more are there to come off, James?" "I think I've done about 20 so far," James said. "Then that only leaves 80 to go," the centipede said. 22, not 80, shrieked the earthworm. "He's lying again." The centipede roared with laughter. "Stop pulling the earthworm's leg," the ladybug said. This sent the centipede into hysterics. "Pulling his leg," he cried, wriggling with glee and pointing at the earthworm. "Which leg am I pulling? You tell me that." James decided that he'd rather like the centipede. He was obviously a rascal, but what a change it was to hear somebody laughing once in a while. He had never heard Aunt Sponge or Aunt Spiker laughing aloud at all at the same time he had been with them. "We really must get some sleep," the old green grasshopper said. "We've got a tough day ahead of us tomorrow. So would you be kind enough, Miss Spider, to make the beds?" That's the end of chapter 12. All right, friends. Well, I hope you enjoyed that chapter. Looks like another rainy day outside, but there's going to be some breaks in the weather, so make sure you get outside, run around, get some of that energy out. Remember, if nobody told you they love you today, I love you very much. Let's have a great Tuesday.